James Charles returned to the internet, and I gotta say, I did not expect this. What's up, guys? Today, we have to talk about James Charles returning to Twitter, posting a 7-minute rant, and then leaving again. It's a mess, so let's get into it.
Exposed. You're exposed. You're exposed. You are exposed. Exposed. You are exposed, sir. I'm going to expose you. Expose you. Oh my God, expose you.
But before we get into that tea, I want to tell you guys about today's sponsor, NordVPN. So what exactly is a VPN? VPN stands for Virtual Private Network. It's pretty much a server that protects not only your internet connection, but also your personal privacy online. You see, when you use the internet and visit different websites or connect to public Wi-Fi without a VPN, your personal information is at risk of being seen by people that you don't really want seeing that information. But if you use NordVPN to browse online or connect to public Wi-Fi networks, it adds a wall of security to your information. All of your personal information is kept safe behind a next-generation encrypt wall, and your IP address is completely hidden. That means when you're in a coffee shop or at school and you want to save some data and use their free Wi-Fi, you can, and you don't have to worry about someone stealing your private information. Another great thing is, Nord has a strict no-log policy and will never track, collect, or share any of your information. My favorite thing though about NordVPN is the amount of shows and movies it lets me gain access to around the world. Since Nord has over 5,400 servers in like 59 different countries, I can log into Netflix, switch my country to let's say Japan, and watch things I would have never seen on the Canadian Netflix. You can also add up to 6 devices under one account, so you're covered on pretty much everything. Right now, you can get a huge deal on a 2-year plan just by going to nordvpn.com/tspill. On top of that, if you use code TSPILL when checking out, you'll also get an extra month completely free. So that's nordvpn.com/tspill and code TSPILL when checking out. The great thing is, Nord has a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you can try NordVPN out completely risk-free. Thank you, NordVPN, for sponsoring today's video, and let's get into the tea. So, I'm pretty sure we all know by now why exactly James is off the internet, and so far an exact return date has been unknown, but kind of expected. But I didn't think it would happen this soon and under these circumstances. Last week, we talked about the current lawsuit James is involved in with an ex-employee. The employee is suing James for a long list of things. For example, failure to pay all wages, failure to provide minimum wage compensation, disability discrimination, and wrongful termination. I have an entire video on this lawsuit, so I'll have a link down below for that so I don't bore you twice. This lawsuit has been going on for a while now, and it actually wasn't made public until the ex-employee who's suing James spoke out about it on Twitter, writing, "Watching the same people who me over massively end up in deep scandals isn't news to me. It's karmic debt. Enough people over in the universe steps in. 1-1 going 2 for 2 because I'm all about law and order." Well, despite James being on a break to learn and grow, he came back to Twitter and spoke out about the lawsuit. I was just laying in bed watching The Circle and bam, I got a notification saying James Charles just tweeted. His tweet wasn't actually a tweet at all. It was a 7-minute and 25-second video talking about the lawsuit, and he pretty much called this ex-employee a liar.
Hello everybody, James here. I hope you guys are all having a beautiful day, afternoon, night, wherever you are in the world. I hope you're doing well as well. I really miss you guys. Don't worry, this is not my return to social media. But unfortunately, I am logging in today because I feel as though I am being cornered and have to make yet another public statement.
James goes on to say that this lawsuit has been going on for the past 2 years, and he was actually trying to keep it offline and private out of respect for not only her, but mainly because it was an ongoing litigation. Now that Kelly has publicly mentioned it, he feels like he's well within his right to come online and also talk about it. He then makes a comment about how her speaking out about it is just perfect timing, almost trying to make us feel bad for him as if he didn't get himself into these situations. James then goes on to say that when he moved to LA, he was living in his downtown apartment, filming and editing 3 videos a week, and it just got to be way too much. He decided to hire Kelly to help him edit videos, but later promoted her to be his producer. James claims that Kelly was no longer editing videos for him and instead was doing more hands-on stuff, like helping him actually plan the videos. He also mentioned that she was earning a salary of $72,000 a year. Now, this is contradicting what Kelly said in her lawsuit against James. Kelly claimed that even though he did promote her, she was still editing his videos, and he even refused to hire anyone else to fill that position, leaving Kelly to do 2 jobs for the price of 1. The video that James posted to Twitter was over 7 minutes long, so at this point, I was just expecting James to maybe debunk her claims and explain why she was let go, but he just skipped over all of that important information and said, "Oh yeah, she worked for me for 6 months, was let go, and now I'm being sued." I don't know, maybe he can't get into it for legal reasons, but then why bother even posting this video in the first place? He did go on to say that the claims that she was wrongfully terminated, overworked, and underpaid aren't true. His reasoning why this isn't true is the fact that he apparently thinks of his employees like family and says they're all well taken care of, and he even feels sick to think that this is a narrative. He says the case is set up to sound like she's just trying to get back unpaid wages, but it's actually not that simple, and he wishes that's all it was because it's actually for hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Is actually for hundreds of thousands of dollars. This was filed 2 years ago. People are only finding out about it like now, but we are not even close to getting an actual court date yet, so it is a long process and quite a headache. Because it's so long, reason number 2 is it gets really expensive really fast for the defendant, which in this case is myself. So most of the time the defendant will settle.
James says that settling out of court isn't even an option anymore because last week he was contacted by the press asking him to comment on an article that was being released in the coming weeks. We now know that this article is by Insider and is titled "James Charles Sued by Former Producer Alleging Non-Payment and Word Use." The article says James declined to comment on Rockland's claims to Insider and denied all of her claims through his attorney in response to the complaint. In a video he posted to Twitter on May 10th, Charles accused Rockland of taking her story to the media in an attempt to publicly pressure him into a higher settlement offer. Charles questioned why Rockland spoke out now after a legal dispute has been ongoing for 2 years. So James thinks that she's only speaking out about this now because he's not in anyone's good books and is no longer the public's biggest fan. James goes on to say that he thinks that she's doing this in an attempt to pressure him to settle out of court for a much higher amount to try and keep these claims on the down low. James says that he was asked to comment on a few of her claims, like him being lazy, her having to force him out of bed to brush his teeth and film, and him using words that he shouldn't be using. He claims that all of these are untrue, but Kelly is alleging otherwise. The Insider article goes on to say, "Imagine having to go over and essentially pick James up out of bed, tell him to brush his teeth, tell him, okay, what do you want to eat? Okay, someone is coming to do your laundry. Okay, I'm gonna get your laundry, I guess. Okay, time to start filming. You don't want to film? Well, we both know you have to, so please, let's think about it." She also said Charles walked around the house in front of her, called her names and once texted her, "Kelly, I might need your help shaving my butt," in preparation for a revealing Coachella outfit. Rockland said that this conduct made her extremely uncomfortable. In response to Charles' video, Rockland told Insider that Charles used with the hard in front of her on numerous occasions. She said that he used it casually during video production, and she also said that he would refer to his friends using the. Another person who had a personal relationship with Charles prior to 2016 told Insider that Charles casually said the in front of them in high school too. Rockland told Insider that James Charles' longtime employees and friends don't speak up about him publicly or hold him accountable in person because they're birds of a feather and all want something that they can obtain by remaining in his good graces. James goes on to say in his Twitter video that if he paid her the ungodly amount of money that she's asking for, all of these claims would magically disappear. He says that he knows his lawyer is kind of a part of his internet personality, but he's never paid anyone not to speak out about him, and he's not going to start now.
At this point, my only option is to pursue this to the fullest extent of the law and hope that one day, whenever it does get to a courtroom in the future, justice will be served. Is because until that happens one day, we're dealing with the court of public opinion, which is a very, very different situation. And it's a court that is not on my side right now.
James says that he wanted to film this video before the article actually dropped, so it didn't blindside his fans because he knew it was gonna look bad on him. James apologized to his fans for having to sit through all of these claims and says that he just hopes justice is served one day and people see him in the situation for what it really is.
It's either all I can hope and pray is that one day justice is served and you guys are able to see me for who I really am and this situation for what it really is. I guess I just have to wait patiently and just, you know, come back when time is right. And
I know we now know that the article James was talking about is by Insider, but at the time of posting his video, he was just trying to get ahead of the story and speak out before it dropped. Kat, who actually wrote the story, reacted on Twitter to James speaking out, writing, "Absolutely not. Story coming soon. Literally cannot believe this. Okay, well, yeah. You paid your creative director $72,000 after a raise. We'll start there since you're the one putting it out. More soon." Even Trisha Paytas chimed in and said that it was kind of sus that he was trying to get ahead of a story before it even came out. I noticed a lot of people just feel kind of weird about this whole thing. There's so much more serious things going on with James right now, ones that he actually admitted to, so it's kind of hard to feel sorry for him about this lawsuit. Another person pointed out that maybe Kelly waited so long to speak out about how she was treated because James has been loved for years. Anyone who would try to speak out about James would probably be attacked by his dedicated fans. I mean, even with everything that's come out about James, it's hard to even find a negative comment under his tweets. It's full of his fans telling him that they want him to return and telling him that he's done nothing wrong. Honestly, I don't know who's right or wrong in this lawsuit, and frankly, it's hard to even care with everything that's come out about James. James and this ex-employee are going to sort this out either in court or out of court, but what about the stuff that he openly admitted to on camera only last month? Anyways guys, let me know what you think about everything down below. If you liked the video, hit the thumbs up button because it really does help my channel, and I'll see you next time.